A very good morning to all my dear children. I hope all are safe and sound. I'm here to welcome you all for today's class in History and Civics, Part 4, Mahavira and Buddha, the Great Preachers. Children, in our previous class, we saw about Buddhism, the early life of Gautam Buddha, the search for truth, and the teachings of Buddha, where we saw the Four Noble Truths. Okay, Buddha preached the four great truths. The world is full of suffering. Human desire is the cause of all sufferings. Suffering can be ended only by giving up desires. And desires can be overcome by freeing oneself from the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This can be achieved by following the eightfold path. Okay, and we have seen the eightfold path. All right, that is right action, right belief, right effort, right means of livelihood, right meditation, right memory, right speech, and right thought. Okay, and then we saw about ahimsa, karma, caste system, and nirvana. Okay, and in today's class, let's move further. That is Buddhist sets. Buddhist sets are nothing but the subgroups of Buddhism. Okay, the subgroup of Buddhism. All right, now Buddhism split into two sets, that is, two sections or two subgroups. All right, and the first set or the first group is Hinayana. Okay, they are also known as lesser vehicle. Okay, and the next one is the Mahayana. All right, so the Buddhism is split into two subgroups or two sets, that is Hinayana and Mahayana. All right, Hinayana is nothing but the lesser vehicle, or Mahayana the greater vehicle. All right, the followers of Hinayana, what they used to believe? Yes, they believed in the original teachings of Buddha. All right, so the believers who believe in Hinayana, they say that they believed in the original teachings of Buddha, which the teachings Buddha had given, and in individual efforts of salvation. Okay, they believe that individual efforts can be taken for salvation. How they can attain the salvation? By understanding the noble truths, and by following the eightfold path that Buddha had taught us. All right, if you follow the eightfold path and the noble truths, then one individual can attain salvation. Now, who believe this? Yes, this is the Hinayana section or the Hinayana subgroup of Buddhism. They believed in this. Okay, the next section or the next subgroup, that was Mahayana. Now, Mahayana Buddhists believe that everyone cannot get salvation, okay, by individual efforts. So they believe that everyone cannot get salvation by individual efforts. Only a few like Buddha, okay, and Bodhisattvas can do it. All right, and they do it for all human beings. So the Mahayana Buddhists, they believe that all that is individual efforts cannot attain salvation. Okay, only few like Buddha and the Bodhisattvas. Okay, the preachers of Bodhisattvas. All right, so they can attain salvation on behalf of the human being. Okay, can do it, and they do it for all human being. All right, now Mahayana Buddhists considered Buddha as God and worship his images. Now these Mahayana, the subgroup, they worship Buddha as God, and all right, and they worshipped his images of Buddha. All right, now according to Buddhist tradition, Maitreya, a Bodhisattva, will appear on earth. They believed, okay, it is a Maitreya, the Bodhisattva will appear on earth in the future. That they believed, okay, achieve enlightenment and teach the poor pure dharma. All right. So, what according to Buddhist tradition, what they believed is Maitreya is a bodhisattva. Okay, it is like a god will appear on earth in the future. Okay, and achieve enlightenment, and they will teach the pure dharma. All right, so these were the beliefs of Buddhist. Okay, children, I hope you understood what is a Buddhist subgroup or a Buddhist sets. Okay, now let's move towards the next part, that is how the spread of Buddhism. How the spread of Buddhism took place. All right, children. Now, Buddhism had many followers. Okay, there were many followers who were following Buddhism. All right, it was embraced by various rulers who spread Buddhism far and wide. Okay, so there were many number of rulers who were ruling, and what they did, they had spread this religion very far places and wide places. Okay, everywhere. All right, the most significant among this ruler were Mauryan rulers. Okay, so these were the Mauryan rulers, then Ashoka and Kushana rulers. All right, and Kanishka, that is Kanishka, alright, sorry. Ashoka spread Buddhism through his agents into Central Asia, West Asia, and Sri Lanka. Now, Ashoka was an empire who spread this Buddhism, okay, throughout Central Asia, West Asia, and Sri Lanka. Alright, children. Now, here were the empire, the king, that is the Mauryan ruler, Ashoka, and Kushana ruler, Kanishka. Okay, these were the rulers who spread Buddhism far and wide. All right. And Ashoka was a ruler who spread in Central Asia, West Asia, and Sri Lanka. All right, children. He also set up a number of monasteries. Who set up? Yes, Ashoka. Monasteries are nothing but, you can say, it is a center of preaching, a center of learning, some of which became great centers of learning. So Ashoka, he set up number of monasteries. Okay, religious place, worship place, and where there's to get religious knowledge. Okay, some of which became, and some monastery which became greater centers of learning later. All right, now the monastic order. Okay, now they got an order after getting constructing a number of monastery. They got an order established to spread Buddhism, is known as the Sangha. Okay, so the monastic order established. Now, what was this monastic order established to spread Buddhism? Is known as what? Sangha. All right. The member of this Sangha were called bhikshuks. Bhikshuks are nothing but the monks. Okay, like you can call them as fathers, no? Like how we have in a uh, Christian institution monks, like that they had bhikshuks. All right, and bhikshunis. Bhikshunis are nothing but they were nuns. Okay, they were like nuns. And why you need this bhikshuks and bhikshunis in Sangha? In what they used to do, they used to roam about in different parts of the country. Why they used to roam? In order to spread the message of Buddha. All right. So these was the work of the bhikshuks and bhikshunis to spread the message of Buddha. All right, children. So this is how the Buddhism spread around. All right. So you have to remember which were the rulers where they had spread this Buddhism, and the spread of Buddhism is known as Sangha. And who are the members of Sangha? That is bhikshuks and bhikshunis. All right, the monks and nuns. And what are the works of these monks, bhikshuks and bhikshunis? There's to roam about in different part of the country in order to spread the message of Buddha. Alright, children? Okay. Now, next, let us see Buddhist texts. Text. Okay. So, Buddhist texts are nothing but the sacred scriptures, children. How we have the Christians, they have their sacred books like Bible. All right. So, they also, Buddhists also had their sacred scriptures of the Buddhists are written, and this scripture was written in Pali. All right. They are commonly known as the Tripitikas or the threefold basket. All right. So these sacred scriptures were also known as Tripitikas or the threefold baskets. Now, there are also stories about the previous births of Gautam Buddha. Alright, children. Okay, now in this we can in this scripture it is written the stories about the previous of births of Gautam Buddha. Okay, so these are known as Jatakas. No, Jatakas are nothing but the stories about the previous births of Gautam Buddha. All right, children. So this is known as the Buddhist texts. Okay, next we will see about Buddhist art and architecture. Okay, very interesting art and architecture Buddhist had. Okay, so Buddhism made a great contribution towards the architecture. The beautiful stupas, viharas, and chaityas that were built in Sanchi, Bodh Gaya, Takshila, Amravati, Nalanda, etc. Okay, now these, that is uh, stupas, viharas, and chaityas. Okay, these were the beautiful art and architecture of Buddhists. All right, and where built, they were built in Sanchi, Bodh Gaya, Takshila, Amravati, Nalanda. Okay, and these places are a very good example of Buddhist architecture. So now you can see here in the image the Rumtak monastery that is in Sikkim, a beautiful art and architecture of Buddhists. Okay, so when you see the image, you can feel what a beautiful knowledge or what a vast knowledge they had about the art and architecture during the Buddhism period. Okay, children. Okay, now let us see the decline of Buddhism. Now, what were the reason for the decline of Buddhism? Okay, children, there were many factors contributed to the decline of Buddhism. Some of these are, let us see, with the passage of time, okay, as the time passes, a number of evil crept into it. That means a number of religion or a number of things happened, and that was the main reason for the decline of Buddhism. All right, it lost royal patronage. Okay, it started losing its importance. Okay, the Gupta kings patronized Hinduism. That means when the Gupta king were ruling, what happened? They, what you can say, they went back, or they patronized, they went back to Hinduism. So that is a reason where the Buddhism decline or the importance of Buddhism reduced. Okay, these Gupta kings, they were patronizing Hinduism, they were practicing or encouraging Hinduism more. Now Hinduism purified and reperformed itself, so Hinduism started increasing, and the importance of Buddhism decreased. Okay, and then the next reason was in the 7th and 8th century AD, the Turkish invaders, okay, the people who were from the Turks, okay, the Turkish invaders, they plundered the Buddhist monasteries. Plundered means they looted. Okay, okay, they looted the Buddhist monasteries and forced the monks to flee. Flee is nothing but to run away. All right. So the Turkish invaders, they plundered the Buddhist monastery and they forced the monks, the bhikshus, okay, to flee. Flee is nothing but to run away. And that was a reason for the decline of this Buddhism. Understood, children? Next, let us see Jainism and Buddhism compared. Okay, similarities between Jainism and Buddhism. Okay, what was similar between Jainism and Buddhism? Okay, the founders of both religions, that is Buddhism and Jainism, that is Mahavira and Gautam Buddha, had similar background. Okay, they were belonging from similar background. Both of them belong to the Kshatriya clan or Kshatriya, what you can say, group, and both belong to a Kshatriya community, and they followed the same path. All right, that was the first similarity. Then both sought the attainment of salvation, that is moksha. Okay, so both thought, that is Jainism and Buddhism, both they thought about attaining of salvation, that is moksha, from the cycle of birth and death. So these were similar in both the religion. Now both did not accept the Vedas. Okay, both religion did not accept the Vedas. All right, then non-violence was their creed. Creed is nothing but faith. Okay, non-violence was their faith. So whatever they wanted to, they don't wanted to hurt anybody with their words or with their actions, and that was their faith. All right, now unlike Brahmins of Hinduism, now the Brahmins of Hinduism, what they used to do, monks, unlike the Brahmins of Hinduism, the monks and nuns of Buddhism and Jainism had to re-announce family life. That means they used to leave away their family life and the world, and they had to lead a life of chastity. Chastity is nothing but virginity. All right, whereas the Brahmins of Hinduism, what they used to do, they used to get married and they stay with their family and they used to perform puja, everything. But these monks and nuns, what they used to do, they used to renounce means they have to dedicate their family life, their worldly life, and lead a life of chastity. Chastity is nothing but virginity, children. All right, both the monks and nuns. So these were the similarity between Buddhism and Jainism, children. All right, now next let us see the dissimilarities, which was not similar in Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, now let's see. First one is Buddhism. It was completely a new religion in 6th century BCE. Okay, so Buddhism was completely a new religion in the 6th century BCE. But Jainism, it had been founded long before Mahavira. So before Mahavira, this religion was founded, and Mahavira was the last of his Trihankaras. So he was the last of his Trihankaras. All right, children. Now next, this similarity we'll see in Buddhism. It followed a middle path. Okay, it followed a middle path, whereas Jainism, it believed in hard penance. All right. Then in Buddhism, it is silent about the existence of God. Okay, it is silent about the existence of God. It did not believe of God. It did not believe of God in Jainism, children. And then in Buddhism, the fourth difference, it spread far and wide. Okay, so Buddhism spread far and wide and led to cultural evolution in India. Okay, and it led to a cultural evolution, means it took a rebirth in India. Whereas Jainism, it did not spread beyond the Indian shores. Okay, it did not spread beyond the Indian shore, means it was within India. All right, children. So these was the dissimilarity between Buddhism and Jainism, children. I hope you will have understood this chapter well. With this we end our session, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. With this note, I take a leave. Thank you. Bye bye. God bless you, children.